Hello and welcome back to Crystal Harbor, where last time we expanded this area over here and added over 10,000 people to the downtown area. This time the plan is pretty simple. First, I want to expand with some more residential buildings, maybe some more skyscrapers, and this little area here. Then, after that, I want to make some parks, some walkways along the coast over here. And after that, if I still have time, I will keep expanding upwards up to this roundabout with even more residential, and maybe even I will make a marina with some more residential buildings along this coast here. So that is the plan for this episode, and so let's get started. I will start off by building this area here. This will probably be the highest density new area, this will probably have the most skyscrapers, and thus also the most traffic, so I'll try to use more roads as to not cause any traffic issues. So let's get started with this little area over here. So this will be the main road passing through this area. And now I need to start placing some buildings in order to figure out where the smaller roads will go, because I don't know from memory how big some of the buildings that I want to place are, and I want the roads to kind of confirm around them, kind of like over here. So let's start placing some big buildings. I ended up choosing only 3 buildings for this area here, or well 4 if you count this theater over here. I will make a little park around it, it should look nice in the end. But I've chosen 3 buildings for this little bit over here, and by doing that I have kind of put myself in a difficult situation, because all of these are office buildings, and with the realistic population mod they all require a ton of workers. I mean 4,000 here, 3,000 here, and 3,000 more over here. So I feel like because of this there will be another housing shortage, but I mean it should be okay, because the rest of this over here will be mostly residential, so hopefully that can fill in these workplaces here. But for a while they will be complaining about not enough workers and stuff like that. So now I will decorate this little area over here. I will add some plazas over here, maybe some paths, something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly what I will do yet. Let's just see how it turns out. And now, I just said I wasn't gonna place any more buildings, but I just found this one under parks for some reason. It's another theater. I think I will detail a park around it just the same as this one. It fits in pretty nicely on the coast. But I think it will fit in even nicer with some trees and paths around it. Right now it kind of sticks out. If it doesn't fit in, I can always just delete it.
Dig a hole to heaven, straight up to heaven. We can leave this dirty world behind, eternal light shining in our eyes. All of our problems we'll never have to solve them.
So now the area around these buildings has been detailed. I kind of used the exact same design in all of these little parks, just some red bushes with some junipers in the middle. Basically just added some more decorations, some plazas, some other stuff like that. Now it's time to move on to this coastal area. And also, just as I said, they are already complaining about not enough workers, which, I mean, of course they are gonna complain about that, because now the downtown area has over 23,000 worker spaces, and only 12,000 of them are filled, so this whole area needs way more residential now. But now I will work on this area over here. But before I start that, I want to add this thing here, the tennis clubhouse. It's a little bit on the larger side, but I think it will fit in quite nicely over here. I'll need to smooth out this little bit here with the terrain tool, but other than that, it fits in pretty nicely. So now let's detail this coastal area.
Just gonna fantasize
So this is the main idea for the road layout, or not the road, but the path layout of this little park over here along the coast. And right now it looks pretty bad still, because there's no vegetation around it, but of course I'll decorate it with a lot of plants, and I also plan on using some of these assets here, maybe some of these parks, some of these gazebos, something like that. Maybe even some piers like this, but as you can see, it says it must be inside of a park area. So first, it's time to make it a park area. And unfortunately, it also wants to place a park gate, which I'm not really a fan of. But maybe if I place it, then I place everything else that I want and then delete the park gate afterwards, maybe that will work. Yeah, then immediately this says it does not have road access, so... I'm not really sure how to get around this. I guess that we can just have one main gate somewhere in here, and then the other paths can just connect up to the city normally. So we can just have like this one single gate over here and connect up the path of it. And now this park area should work properly. So it's time to start decorating this area with a bunch of assets and trees and vegetation and stuff like that. So now I just placed some bushes and these little palms around the edges of the paths. Basically, I used these palms wherever it was sand, because I feel like these green bushes wouldn't really grow in the sand. So it's a bit more realistic like this. Of course I will still add more vegetation, especially in the grassy areas. I might actually leave the sandy areas blank, but I'm not sure about that yet. I just don't really have any good ideas for these areas yet. But for now, I just did the bushes, and you might have also noticed that I left this area empty and without any bushes. That's because around this theater there will be some more fancy gardens with some more sort of exotic plants around there. So now let's just add a bit more vegetation in the grassy areas and then move on to this theater park. So I just added some more trees in the grassy areas and some palms in the sandy areas. I feel like it already looks way better. Like this part, for instance, is basically done already, and I think it looks pretty good. Now I just have to detail this part over here with some more exotic plants. But I don't really like how just the palms look in these sandy areas. I mean, it's fine, it doesn't look bad, but I feel like something more could be done with these areas, but I just can't think of anything right now. If you can think of something, then make sure to comment it below, and maybe in the next episode I will do it. Because I feel like really something more could be done with these little areas over here. But now let's move on to decorating the area around this theater. And just like that, I would say that this city park is basically done. I think it looks pretty good, both close up and from far away, which is always my goal. I'm still not sure what I will do with this little bit over here. I mean, this bit will probably eventually turn into a road when I expand to this island over here. But I don't think I need two separate bridges this close together, so I could probably do something else with this little bit here. Or I could just delete it completely, but I mean it was there naturally from the map, so I don't really wanna do that. So, also with this thing, if you have any ideas on what to do with it, then please leave a comment. But now the next thing I want to do is put some more residential buildings in here. I'll start off with this little corner over here. This probably won't fit much, but could still probably fit a few apartments. And then I'll move on to this area here next to the roundabout. And now I just realized, because of the way I placed this building here, then people just like to chill on the rails from time to time, but that's fine. Yeah, like this person here just ran out onto the rails. Which is not the safest, but whatever.
Dig a hole to heaven, straight up to heaven. We can leave this dirty world behind, eternal life shining in our eyes. All of our problems, we'll never have to solve them. Everything in perfect harmony, we manifest exactly what we think. But I'm not ever gonna die, I'm just gonna fantasize forever, forever, forever and a day. Let's go
And now with this little community done, it's time to move on to this larger area and fill that in with residential as well. I detailed the paths around here kind of the same as I did with the city paths because they connect up over here. It's kind of a part of the same system. And yeah, these buildings fit together pretty nicely. They are from the same creator, the same back, basically. And I think I will use more of these in this area over here, as they are quite large and fill in the space quite nicely with a park in the back as well. And I'm not quite sure exactly where I will do it yet, but in this area I also want to add a school, or maybe even a few, because the closest elementary school is already pretty far away from here, so I will definitely need an elementary school around here. And probably also a high school. I don't think I will place a university though. That's one university is enough in the city center. I'll probably end up using these instead, like this Institute of Creative Arts and the community school, because I just think the assets look nicer. And also, we are about to hit 50,000 population, so probably while I'm building this area, we will hit this milestone of 50,000 population. But that's not what the video is about, so it's time to keep expanding to over here. And I guess I can actually start by placing the schools and then try to build around them. I think that will be easier than trying to fit them in later. So I'll start by placing an Institute of Creative Arts, which is basically a high school. Over here, I think. This seems like a pretty nice space for it because it is quite a large asset. And that should cover this entire side of the city. I'll probably decorate it with some parks around here. And also I need an elementary school, or in this case, a community school. I might place it actually a bit more in the middle when I start placing these buildings. So we'll see how that turns out. So now I want to start placing these buildings here. And just like that, by placing this little neighborhood or square of buildings, I guess you can't really call it a neighborhood, it's just 4 buildings. So by placing these buildings here, we have hit 50,000 population, which is a pretty big milestone. I'm hoping for this city to reach about 100,000 before City Skylines 2 comes out. And when that comes out, obviously I will probably play that, unless you want me to keep playing City Skylines 1 for some reason, but I don't think anyone will want that. Now I'm not really sure if I like this kind of square of buildings. It looks kind of boring, but I mean, I have seen similar things in real life, so I guess it's realistic. I think in this other part I'll try to make it a bit more organic, but I'll leave this one as it is right now. And yeah, I think this looks a bit more organic. I also placed this mini soccer or football field next to this school, so the kids that go here can maybe go there and exercise during PE or something like that. But this area doesn't look that bad either. I just have to detail this Institute of Creative Arts now, and these gaps over here. Okay, so I mostly just added some trees, some bushes, nothing really that special over here, but I think it looks pretty nice overall. And now I want to move on to the other side of the road, where I think I want to create a little residential marina with maybe 2 or 3 little areas that stick out into the ocean. For that I think I will need to do some terraforming. I think this bit needs to be a bit more uniform in sticking out. Not sure how big I will make it yet, or how it will turn out in general, because I have never built a marina like that before, but I guess it will just be trial and error, so let me just speed up the footage and you can just watch me struggle and try to figure this out now. Yeah, so I really tried placing some key walls, but it just wasn't happening. I'm not sure how to do it properly. So instead I will just have to use these concrete decals on the edges, which is fine as well, but it doesn't look as nice. And of course we also need to place some fences so nobody falls in. Oh, but the fences destroy these things. Oh well, I will just have to replace them later.
Dig a hole to heaven, straight up to heaven. We can leave this dirty world behind, eternal life shining in our eyes. All of our problems we'll never have to solve them. Everything in perfect harmony.
So now it's time to fill in this area with some buildings.
But I'm not ever gonna die. I'm just gonna fantasize forever. Forever. Forever and a day. Let's go to outer space, straight up to outer space. We can leave this dusty world behind, travel to a different kind of life. All of the stars will all be ours. Everything in perfect harmony. We manifest exactly what we think. I'm not.
So for this marina I ended up going for a pretty symmetrical style on all of the islands. It's basically the same. And I like how it turned out. It would be better if there was some quay walls along the sides here instead of just fences, but as I said, I don't really know how to do that. I really tried and was not successful. Now I just have to fill in this little neighborhood here. And I think that this area here will just stay empty. Maybe I will put some paths in here and some more vegetation. Yeah, I have to fill this in now, and then that will be basically it for this area. So let's get to doing that. I made this area just pretty basic, some more of these assets that I used over here. A lot of the same building over and over again. I think it looks pretty nice, this sort of development around this marina here. I just need to add some vegetation in it. And now this whole area is done. I think it actually turned out nicer than I expected. I didn't expect to be able to do so much today. We also made this whole city park around here, around the coast, and we added this entire new development, which, I mean, it looks good. I really like how these black and grey buildings look. Some people might not like that they all look the same, but I really like it. I really like how this area looks. And basically that will be it for this episode. This new area has 6,200 people in it. That's still not enough to fill these offices though. Like, they still need over 1,000 jobs in each one. So I will still need to add even more residential. And the demand for residential is still high as well, as you can see. But yeah, that will be it for this episode. We got a lot done, and see you in the next one.